If you have ever walked out of an interview thinking, did I actually learn anything about them? This episode will fix that forever. Hiring is not about who talks the prettiest in an interview. It's about who can prove that they've delivered results. Let me show you the difference. Welcome back to Aspire Hire Conversations, where we peel back the layers of building powerhouse teams in the world of consumer goods, beauty and personal care, food and beverage, apparel, lifestyle, all the places where brands are built by people, not products. I'm your host, Chelsea Leon, your friendly neighborhood CPG recruiter, performance based hiring evangelist, and startup whisperer for founder led brands. And today we are going inside the interview. You know, interviews are funny. Everyone thinks that they know how to do them until they're sitting across from someone asking questions that sound like they were lifted off Google back in 2007. And then afterwards, someone might tell me, Chelsea, I'm not really sure I learned anything about them. And that's fair because interviewing is a skill, it is a craft. You have a full time job in marketing, supply chain, operations, sales, product development, what have you. But interviewing, there is strategy. It is a full time job. It is my full time job. And when it's done well, it completely changes the trajectory of who you hire and who you become as a company. So today, I am teaching hiring managers and candidates how to interview for impact. Let's talk about why most interviews miss the mark. We'll start with the truth. Most interviews are not good. They're not helpful. They're not predictive. They're not productive. Why? Because they fall into three classic traps. Trap number one is surface level questions. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? What animal would you be? Why are we doing this? None of those, they don't reveal performance. They reveal who rehearsed the night before. Trap number two is basing something solely off of a gut feel bias. And this is the I can just sense it approach. Here's the spoiler. The gut feel is how teams accidentally hire the person they like the most instead of the person who can actually deliver outcomes. Trap number three is that there's no structure. Unstructured interviews create unstructured results. And you can't compare candidates fairly when every conversation is a random adventure. So if you've ever hired someone who wowed you in the interview and then delivered nothing on the job, this is why. Enter my favorite approach, the performance-based interview built on Lou Adler's methodology and battle-tested across thousands of searches. Here's the core philosophy. Don't ask candidates what they would do. Ask them what they've already done. Because past performance is the strongest predictor of future success, especially in the scrappy world of consumer goods where roles evolve every 5 minutes. When I interview a candidate, I'm not looking for the polished answer. I'm looking for the decisions they made, the challenges they faced, the results they created, how they think, not just what they do. And this is where the magic happens. One of my favorite interview tools is something I call the achievement gap. Here's how it works. Good candidates can tell you what they did. Great candidates can tell you what they achieved. This sounds subtle, but it's everything. Here's an example of a good answer for an achievement, right? I managed project launching 5 SKUs. Here's a great one. I managed a multi-SKU launch that increased category sales by 18%, cut lead time by 3 weeks, and created packaging cost reduction of 12%. It's the same project, but it's a wildly different depth. The achievement gap shows you the difference between someone who participated and someone who created impact. So here it is, the question that never lies. Walk me through your biggest accomplishment in the last 12 to 18 months. Start at the beginning. What was the situation? What were your responsibilities? What actions did you take specifically? And what was the measurable outcome? This question separates the resume readers from the resume writers. If they ramble, if they generalize, if they speak in we but never I, you will hear it instantly. But if they are strong, you'll get a masterclass in how they think, problem solve, and deliver results. Here's some tips for candidates. You're not powerless. Candidates, I'm talking to you. If you want to stand out in interviews, please, I am begging you, tell stories, not tasks, not responsibilities, stories. And I don't mean some made up story. I mean, like, focus in, share the situation, share the action that you owned, share the teams that you collaborated with to problem solve, share your process in getting something approved, and then drive it home with the real impact, the result at the end of the day. Something like, and we met our launch on time and in budget. My absolute favorite recommendation is for candidates to use the STAR format, the STAR, that's situation, task, action, and result. Tell us what was broken. What did you fix? What obstacles came up? What changed because of you? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real, specific, and able to show the thread between your work and the result. Now, here's the part most people forget. Interviewing isn't just about choosing the right candidate. It's about teaching your team what excellence looks like. On the hiring manager side, a thoughtful, structured, performance based interview tells candidates, we know what success looks like here. We care about outcomes, not optics. We value clarity and accountability. And that attracts the A players because A players want to work for companies that know what they're doing. So whether you are a founder interviewing your fifth hire, or a candidate interviewing for your dream role, or a team leader trying to upgrade your bench, the interview is where everything comes together. Ask better questions, listen for real stories, look for evidence of results, close the achievement gap. This right here is how good teams become great teams. If you found today's episode helpful, share it with a founder, a hiring manager, or a colleague who is about to interview someone this week. And as always, if you are a CPG brand looking for your next A player hire, you know where to find me. I'm Chelsea Leon, and this is Aspire Hire Conversations. See you in the next one.